So much said, I'm in too deep. Waters I tread can't catch my breath. A shadow chasing me, a game of hide and seek. If hell now have a peak. All right, welcome everyone to another edition of Deconversion Stories. Today we have this lovely lady, Robin, who has joined us for tonight's episode. Happened to pop into the chat the other day when we had the Kentucky Atheist on, and agreed to come on and share whatever version of a story there might be to share. So, first of all, Robin, welcome to the show.
Hello.
So tell us a little bit about your background in the realm of religion.
I grew up missionary Baptist. I live in I was born in a small town, and then we moved to I live in Kentucky too, but I live on the other side of the state from KA. We moved to Louisville, Louisville. I don't know how y'all pronounce it, but we moved up there. It's a bigger city. I grew up there till I started high school, and then we moved back to a small town, which is where I still live right now. It's a town of probably 15,000, maybe.
That's pretty small, yeah.
And
it's my high school.
But I went to church at a missionary Baptist church, the same church the whole time. We drove, even when we lived in Louisville, we drove down here every weekend to go to church. And
is that far?
Dedication.
It's about an hour and like 15 minutes, something like that.
What?
It was hard on my mom. I can't imagine how she did it. Like she would get me and my sister both dressed for church, and her dressed for church, and drive us down here. And she worked all week. It must have just been just. I can't even.
What do you know? Like, what's the missionary part? Like the missionary, easy chat. Calm down. I already know what your jokes are going to be. Relax. but what makes like a Southern Baptist versus like a missionary Baptist? Is there like a noticeable difference, or is it just kind of like
there's something about the feet washing, like, and that something about members being non-members being able to take communion. I don't know, just some. Not really much of anything that we went to different Baptist churches all my life, like on revivals and stuff, and they were, it was never, they were never much different.
I got here. Missionary Church is a Trinitarian body which believes the Bible is inspired word of God and authoritative in all manners of faith.
Oh yes.
Salvation is the result of genuine repentance of sin and faith in its atoning work of Christ. Oh, so they're like all in.
Oh yeah, they're
if I do something wrong, I got forgiven. It says it right here. I'm good to go.
You get saved. I was saved when I was 8 years old. And I mean they have revivals like twice a year, and they just drag all the kids, of that age up there, and you just pray until you finally just. You want it to stop, but
yeah.
But I went to church. I wasn't really never really real religious, but my family is real bad. My mother is, and I mean, just I don't know that I probably could have done anything worse than become an atheist to her. It's probably about time.
My mom too.
Does she like these days? Does she talk to you about it? Like, does she ask you why you feel the way you do?
No. We've had a few arguments over it, and we've kind of come to just a matter of, just don't talk. So we don't fight. My dad will shush either one of us if we start, even if anything, even if she pops off or I pop off, my dad will just go, shh, shh, now. He puts a stop to it right now because he knows that neither one of us really are very good at stopping our mouths once we get going.
He said, please do not start this hurricane around me. I'm just trying to relax. And here y'all go.
He's pretty quick. Shut us down.
I said these Austin Powers, Dr. Evil moments. Zip, zip, zip.
Yeah. She tells me that she thinks that I'll come back to God eventually, so she's not going to worry about it too much. So, but what's really weird is I was raised in I went to school, middle school and stuff in Louisville, which is a lot bigger town. It's a big city. I never learned evolution. I was 50 years old before I learned evolution.
Well, that's not true. I'm 50 now, so
I'm 55. So
lies.
Lies. I'm 55 actually. So.
Well, it looks like me because I'm 57 myself. So it looks like me, you got some good youthful looks genes. So because most people, when I tell them that, they're like, "There's no fucking way." I mean, sure, the gray hair is kind of a tell-all.
Gray hair is good though. I like gray hair. Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. I do too. I don't think my hairdresser keeps wanting to throw color into it, and I'm like, we're done with the color. Okay, we stopped doing that like in 2014. That's enough. So we're good.
I'm 100 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You don't look a day over 99, Mike. Come on.
Thanks. No, you guys all look young and youthful. It's the lack of Christ that I blame for my youthful appearance.
That's right. Yeah.
So did you go to like public school, or was this like a Christian school that they weren't teaching it?
Well, no, I didn't go to any kind of Christian school. I went to the year that I moved to Louisville was the year that they started busing. That was after the Supreme Court had overturned the Brown versus Board of Education, and it was a few years later, but it was the first year they were going to implement busing in the city of Louisville.
So I'll just do a little cultural note for all you non-Americans. Like, this is something my mom went through. Like, my mom never went to school with white people until she was in 3rd grade. Like, this whole segregation in America is not that far away. And even after it was changed federally, it's still like each state took their sweet ass time to implement things in the way that they saw fit. So there is this ripple effect of people just never having experienced each other because the city kids were never going to go to the white kids' schools and vice versa. But the busing program would take kids out of the city and put them into the better funded schools in the suburbs and stuff like that, which led to much controversy.
Yes.
So there you go. In case you didn't know,
I went to 1st grade. I went to a school that was like 3 blocks from my house. It was a horrible school. I went there in 1st grade, 3rd grade, and 4th grade. And then my mom got me into what they call traditional program, which is still a public school, but it was like it was just more, you had to apply to get accepted and stuff. But it was still public school. But in 2nd grade, I got bused. In 2nd grade, I got bused to a school downtown. There were like 6 of us white kids that went there, and the principal, every other student was black, and it was the best grade school experience that I had while I was in grade school ever.
Wow.
Nice.
I loved it. I loved my teacher was a real young girl. She was just friendly, and the women that taught at the school that was around my house were like 100 years old and still like smacking their fingers with rulers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was horrible. I mean, even my mom got into it with them, and I had this just young teacher who was so excited to teach in the 2nd grade, and I never felt, out of place there. They were so nice to us when we got, it was a big deal. I think I remember I was so young, but I remember like people being outside TV cameras and stuff when we went in, to the school.
Wow.
Because it was like the second year of the busing, because there was a lot of violence in Louisville at the bus over the busing at the high school levels and stuff.
Yeah.
There was a lot of
violence.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
was.
They did not want them kids in their school. They say, I pay good money to be in this school, and you're going to bust them in here? I moved out of there on purpose.
They didn't want their kids being bused down there, downtown and stuff either. I had to ride the bus for an hour and a half longer to go to school down there. But it was Price Elementary. It's still the best years in elementary school I ever had. Was that one right there? Yeah. And I would have got bused again in the 10th grade because it went by your last name. So mine was the 2nd and 10th was been the years. So they had Jefferson County opened what they call traditional program, which was based on grades and stuff like that. And you got in, and you didn't get bused anymore. You went to school there. I mean, it was open to anybody, as far as but your grades and stuff was. So I went to that for the rest of the time that I lived up in Louisville.
All right.
That is a super interesting moment that you went through.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was, I really didn't understand it back then. You know what I mean? I was so young, I had never even been to school, so I didn't know what school was.
Right.
But I do remember my mom, kind of flipping out because my dad was a basketball coach until that year, and he quit teaching and went to work at General Electric in Louisville, appliance work, and that's why we moved up there.
So, do you hoop? Are you a hooper?
No, it skipped my generation. I played in high school. I was terrible, and my dad, my dad and both his brothers all played ball. They were all like college scholarship ball players. They're all on the They're all on the the college teams and everything in their
big schools and stuff.
And there were 6 granddaughters, and none of us were any good at basketball.
Damn. Try.
Well, the boys looks like they got all the athletic prowess then.
Yeah, they didn't have any. They had 2 girls apiece. But there wasn't no boys on that side in my family. So
I just keep passing the ball. Come on, it's just a free throw. Well, you can do it.
If there's more of you girls there than the boys, then you guys could have won just by outnumbering them.
I mean, we didn't have any boys in my family. So what I'm saying, there wasn't any grandkids that were boys of my grandma's.
Wow.
She had 3 boys, but then she had 6 granddaughters. Which I was the oldest, and then the favorite, and the most spoiled.
The favorite.
The favorite I was.
I was kind of the favorite too of my grandma as well, but.
My grandma actually said it at my papa's funeral. She said Robin was always his favorite. I was like, "Grandma, shh."
Hey, I gotta walk out of here, man. What you doing?
But I mean, all my cousins were standing there. I was like,
grab me.
They knew it though.
In their hearts.
So growing up, you said you guys were churchgoers, obviously, because your family is quite religious. So with your dad, was he vocal about it, or was he just like I just go to church, I do my worship by myself, and that's about it kind of thing?
Actually, Dad did not go with us to church until for several years. He grew up Methodist. And, and he was a sports. He plays golf. I mean, he was a basketball coach when I was little. Mom said that like she would take me to church on Saturday nights, and there would be a ball game, going on, and I would be hollering in the church, wanting to leave because of the ball game. Like I would act up because she couldn't send me to the ball game, with him because he was coaching.
You're not watching you.
Couldn't actually watch it.
So I was real bad about acting up over it. But so he started. But finally, after so many years, he finally he thought it would make my mama and papa mad that if he changed from Methodist to Baptist. And my mama was like, no. So now he goes. He's he goes with Mom, or they have for several years. They went.
So
He would-
he kind of was under this impression that mixing flavors was not a good thing, I guess.
he just liked playing golf and stuff on Sundays, I think.
Huh?
I remember when he started going to church, I hated it because he would, mom, was often of her singing and stuff. And if we got, sort of into something we weren't supposed to be doing back there, Dad would reach up and pinch you instead of saying anything to you. He would never say a word to you, just pinch you real hard.
That's what you always see you always see kids sitting in the pews and they're just kind of sitting there normal and then be
they were right. Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, you've been talking. It's like, you better shut up. They told you.
I grew up in a family where, like, my grandma and my aunts, my mom had 2 sisters that, like, whichever kid was around and whichever one of you was the closest to that kid, if it was acting up, you just took them outside yourself and, whipped them.
Yeah.
So, you had to watch to make sure none of that bunch around, or they drag you out to church and whip you and bring you back in.
Whip you. Wow.
Yeah.
You grab like a little switch off a tree.
I never did get any beatings really from but yeah, I used to get a lot of whippings. I mean, they were, my mama had a rule: she whooped all of you. That way, she made sure she got the right one.
It's
good strategy.
You had to be just like clear of all the trouble to be innocent. You know what I mean? You had to be like
nowhere near it.
Yeah, you had to be. She had to know you were nowhere near there before she let you by with it.
Oh, kitty.
Yeah, she's wanting to go on TV.
She's like, what's going on? I want to see.
Pay attention to me. So, not being so, like, even when you were little, you weren't really, did you believe in any of it, or was there just sort of this disconnect?
I've asked myself that so many times because it's so weird that when I tell you how I eventually became an atheist, it's like it never even occurred to me that there wasn't a God, really. But then I didn't really ever worry about it either. It doesn't even make no sense. It's like I just kind of, I don't know. I thought about that a million times, and I've tried to figure out what was I thinking about? Why didn't I register this? I mean, I brought my oldest daughter. I took her to church and everything when she was born, and when her dad and I got divorced is when I kind of left church, and I started driving a truck, and I got pretty bad on drugs for a while.
Okay.
I was driving cross country and doing a lot of driving and staying up a lot. So
yeah, it can be pretty hazardous too.
Yeah, I was real lucky. I mean, I stayed pretty, safe. I didn't have any knock on wood. Of course, but I haven't had a wreck in truck yet. I've been driving for 27 years. So
wow. There's recently a video that went pretty viral of a fellow who was driving a gas truck, like a fuel tanker, fell asleep at the wheel and hit the middle median and flipped the truck over, and the whole thing just blew.
Yeah.
It's like,
I pull a tanker, but mine's milk, so it's not flammable.
Right.
But so many people would cry.
Sneak some milk.
The spilled milk tanker, the whole city would just be crying on the side of the road, like, no.
Well, actually, it's and see, the one thing about it is the gas tanker has baffles in it, so they don't actually have the same. I mean, really, it's not as hard to pull on them. It's sectioned off and it has baffles in it. Since mine is food grade, it's what they call open bore. So it just kind of rolls around in there every time you're driving. It's just riding, flopping around and. But if it spills, it is considered hazardous. It will kill fish. Like if it goes into like a stream or a river or something like that, lake, or anything like that. If it gets into water, if it gets into water,
I heard fish are lactose intolerant.
It kills fish instantly. I mean, it will if it gets in like a little stream, it will kill every fish in that stream. Milk will. It's something about it. It takes the oxygen out of the water or something.
Yeah, it's something like that, if I remember.
You hear that? You hear that, fish?
Yeah, if we spill any of it, they're all over us. The EPA is. Like
Yeah.
if it, if one wrecks or something and there happens to be a big spill and it goes like down into the drains, the storm drains or
Yeah.
something.
I never
It's a
really
big,
thought about
it's a big deal.
I never really thought about food being hazardous because we eat it, but it wouldn't be. That's not the hazard. The hazard is the environment.
Yeah,
'Cause-
it's huge.
yeah,
It's pretty good for grass though. Like, you know what I mean? But they don't want it in the groundwater, like in the they don't want it in the groundwater, storm drains or anything like that.
Yeah, no. Also, I don't know if you know this, Mikey, but Coffee Mate
hmm
stuff you put in your coffee has to travel the
Mhm.
dangerous goods route because it's flammable.
yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Super
Coffee Mate
flammable.
is flammable. As it gets in cloud mode, you light a lighter and the whole thing goes up.
Oh, because it's powdered.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, it's also a petroleum byproduct.
Oh, okay.
That
I just saw mine's raw milk. It's straight out of the cow, the teat. It's from the titty to the city.
From the titty to the city. Yeah, honestly say I've not heard that before. That's amusing as hell.
I've never heard those words in that combo.
I take it to. I used to go to Nashville, Tennessee, all the time, but now my load goes to another place in Tennessee. So, but
That's
for
funny.
years I went to Nashville. But I used to come to California. Don't you live there? Is that where you live?
Me?
Yes.
Yep.
No,
He's in
I'm
California.
Oh,
shut up.
North California.
I used to haul
Yeah.
produce out there, from out there. I would come out there with Altoid mints, candy mints that I picked up in New Jersey, and I would take them.
Mayonnaise?
Yes,
Ain't no mince in
I
there.
have the little boxes with all the different Christmas the limited edition tins and everything.
Ain't no
And I
mince.
would stop at like
I love those things, man.
Denver and San Francisco. There were big candy.
You ever go to Canada?
No, I've never been to Canada. And I
That's
would.
actually where I live.
Yeah.
It's in,
Oh, okay.
it's in
I was
And
right.
West
would-
Coast Canada.
I would
Hollywood
pick-
North, they call it.
I would pick up produce out there, after I emptied out, and then take it to Hunts Point, New York City, which is like in the Bronx.
That's so far.
I know it's a long way, but you pay good money, and that's why I had to stay up all the time.
Oh
But,
my God. I'm
my
tired.
daughter,
I'm
I have a daughter
restless
living out
already.
Mikey needs a nap already, I think.
Yeah, I'm restless already. Just thinking about how long does it take to drive across the country, like from New York to LA in the truck with the brakes and like gassing up and all like. So
there.
how many days?
I didn't use the brakes much. It takes if you're doing it with a team and you don't have to stop and stuff, you can do it in 48 hours of nonstop driving. Like that might. I mean, you might miss like a couple hours of fueling or something like that.
Yeah.
But like loading strawberries out there and stuff, they want them back on the East Coast in 48 hours. So,
holy shit!
and I have done that by myself before because
Wow.
I couldn't drive team with somebody. We didn't get along. So
It's
Oh
that's
my
illegal here in
God.
Canada. You can't drive for more than 16 hours without rest.
but see, this was a long time ago. We didn't have log. Like I had a lot of people use 2 or 3 log books, but I always use just like those loose leaf ones that you could just tear out and then you could just like redo them all over again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a long time ago.
Let me just fix these.
Now we have to
Let
have
me organize
e-logs.
this for you.
Now they have to have e-logs for like over the road. I don't have to. Milk haulers are not under that thing.
Okay.
Like over the road milk haulers are, but not farm route. I can work 365 days a year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and write it down on my paperwork and turn it in. It's legal. They don't have to ever give me a day off.
Wow. Shit.
Cows don't take days off.
Yeah, farm route is excluded from all that. But we're only allowed to drive so many miles from our home too, before to the plant. Like I'm not allowed to go over 250 miles from my house
Okay.
to deliver.
Oh.
That makes sense then that they wouldn't limit you because you're not gonna. That's That's down the street. 250. That's down the street for you.
I mean, most people wreck within 5 miles of their house anyway. So
Yeah.
really,
yeah.
actually, you wreck the closer you are. But I guess
It's a familiarity which breeds like
complacency.
not contempt, complacency. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah.
Well, in your brain.
Exactly. So tell us now. I want to get into a little bit more about what was it? I think that finally made you sort of move your way out of the belief system and starting to call yourself an
well, I
atheist.
changed belief systems first.
Oh, okay. Like me.
I thought I couldn't decide at first if I wanted to share this or not. And because it may make me look like a bad person to some people, but I'm not. I've never been dishonest about it. So, I met an older man that was married, and I don't know. It just we're just all up in each other about stuff, and he left his wife. I didn't know he was going to do that. And because he showed up one weekend at my house and he had left, and then he went back. And I don't know. I remember that I was laying in a reclining chair and I was listening to some stuff on the phone and I was so upset. And a video come on about twin flames. Do you know what those are? You ever heard of those?
I do not.
Twin flames? No.
It's some woo stuff. It's about like sort of like a soulmate, but even more. It's like you and this person were once one flame, and then you were divided into two flames, and put in these different bodies, and you go through these different lives, and work out through all this karmic stuff. And
Jesus.
yes. So anyway, I woke up. But to me, I just knew that's who that was. My twin flame. I mean, we were so much alike. It was so weird. It was just so weird because he was 15 years older than me and everything, and we were so much alike. Everything we liked the same. And so then I ended up. That's what got me on. It was on YouTube. That's what got me on this rabbit hole with all this woo stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I
went there too.
I bought a spell. $700.
What?
Oh no!
I remember, and I drove for a buddy of mine. Then I was hauling grain. Then I had quit hauling milk, and I was hauling grain. And I borrowed the money from him. He was my boss, and he was like, "Please don't do this."
Oh man!
He was like, "What are you going to do with this money?" And I told him, he's like, "No." And I was like, "Yes." And I paid him back, of course. And he was like, "I feel so bad. I can't believe you bought a spell with this." But I bought this spell and had this woman, and he came back right at the time when that spell was supposed to have started.
No!
I swear, it's like
the spell worked.
It was supposed to be like 8 weeks, like 2 cycles of moons, and I had to do like this. I had to like do this ritual with this little pinnacle, and I had to go and sit under the moon, and I had to take rose petals and salt and put them in a certain little thing.
I know the one. Yeah.
And I had to sit out there and I had to like visualize him coming back.
You're going too fast. I have too many questions. Okay. So I'm going to guess the salt was to purify?
Yeah, it was salt. Yeah. The salt. I didn't know then what it was
double
for.
purpose.
Oh, okay. I was about to
double
say,
purpose.
what did the rose do?
It purifies and safety too. Like after I learned
it. Pentacle.
It keeps you.
You put salt around. It's like a barrier.
Keeps negative energy away.
That's right. Well, so they say, but doesn't. But so they say.
Yes, but salt is like the most valuable thing in the world to witches. I mean, like there's all kinds of salts, different salts for different things.
Yeah, does it matter what kind of salt does it have? Like, what do different salts do? Like different things?
Well, like sea salt.
Salt is salt, really.
But they said, but you can always use table salt. But the rose petals are for love, candles,
pretzel salt.
Any kind of salt.
It's all
any kind of salt works.
Road salt.
I have green salt, black salt, pink salt.
Yeah, the sidewalk salt should be the best deal. I mean, if I'm gonna start marketing stuff to Wiccans, I'm definitely gonna
think-
like start selling big industrial sized bags of salt for
I
purification.
don't think a whole lot of
Artie's here.
Oh, yeah.
Bath salts do something entirely different.
yeah.
Can I use bath salts in a pinch? Like that's what I need to know.
No.
Oh,
No, that
But you
wouldn't
don't
work.
do anything with it except just like put it around a circle and
Yeah.
stuff like that. She just gave me the woman that I bought the spell from. She sent me like a little thing on what to do. How to draw the pinnacle on a piece of paper and take it out there and sit on there. And of course, I did this at my boss's house all the time. And he would be like, he
my
was,
goodness.
The hell are you
He was-
doing? Summoning
was like-
Satan?
he was like, "Are you gonna be doing that naked out there?" And I was like, "No."
If my cat goes missing, I swear to God. What are you doing with that pocket knife? Come here.
But he came back though, right at the time when Spell said he would.
Right.
Damn.
Okay.
That's,
I mean,
that's
how
unfortunate.
much more confirmation bias can you get? You know what I mean? I mean, just
Yeah.
For sure.
and that's not the only time that happened. Like that things that did that to me. So, and he come back, but he didn't stay gone very long. He came back, and his wife, he had grown kids and grandkids. You know what I mean? It was just and they just called him constantly and sent him all this, just guilt stuff, and he felt guilty. You know what I mean? He knew what he was doing was, he wasn't, he knew that wasn't, what he's supposed to be doing. So he went back, and of course, that time I was just crushed, but I was not going to spend $700 on a spell myself. So I learned.
No.
I learned
That's
this.
ridiculous.
I learned to do this by myself.
Yeah, all you needed the books.
And
They cost
so
me
I
$80.
learned-
DIY that shit.
And I'm one of them people that when I go into something, I become like, it's like
Invested.
I want to learn it. I want to learn it all. I have so much stuff up. Like my room is still witchcraft because it's just that I've got herbs and spices and roses and flowers and just
I still
everything.
wear my old ring.
Yeah, let's see. I have
There you go.
turquoise.
Nice.
See,
I
so
still
I
have
still have
tons of
I
old
still have
shit
my
that I
big sword up there hanging on the wall, and
Swords are fucking cool though, so that's okay.
it's badass. Yeah, a buddy of mine gave it to me because I was telling him I needed like a ritual sword. He was like, "I need a sword," and he gave it to me, and so
Nice.
I've got all that. I still got all that stuff upstairs in my room. It still looks like a witch. If you come in my room, you think I'm a witch still, but
I know
Well,
your
you have
buddy.
a sword, so I'm not going to piss you off. That I know.
so he stayed gone for a long time, and I started doing this. I ordered some prayer beads and had it from somewhere in Turkey or something, and they were supposed to be blessed or something, and so they came.
Sure.
And every day I did this ritual for 7 months. I did this ritual where I would get up and I would say, a prayer to the universe, and I would go through all this, and I would do. I did a lot of ceremonial magic. Did you ever do that? Like,
I've done all kinds of magic. I was part of a quote unquote
I'm trying to
company.
think
for a
what.
little
Like
while.
there was like a couple of rituals that I did. It was like it was stuff like Aleister Crowley sort of was supposed to be doing. I mean,
I have his tarot deck. I have the Thoth deck.
and I did well, I watched a guy named Frederick Xavier that's on YouTube all the time, Mind and Magic.
Yeah.
And he does planetary magic and ceremonial magic, and I have all of his like lessons, and I mean I really like him though. He's awesome, but it's just hocus. But
Yeah.
but I did this for 7 months. I did this every day, and all my friends would say, "Robin, he's not coming back," and I said, "He's coming back. He's coming back." And I swear, one day I was sitting there at the table. And I looked down at my phone, and the message dinged, and it was him.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he wouldn't call because he was scared out. He was like, "Hey, it's me." And so I called him, and he told me, he said, this whole time, he said, the longer I stayed gone, the harder it was to stay away. And I was like, Well, that's because I was doing magic on you. So I really thought I was good at this stuff. But and we talked about it. I moved to South Dakota up there where he worked all the time. He hauled cows, and I moved to South Dakota. I bought a house in South Dakota. Moved everything I owned up there. I mean, just everything. I mean, rented this Kirby U-Haul. My dad, he was like, he got this U-Haul loaded up. I went up there, bought a house, redone a house, and got a job hauling milk up there for a cheese plant up there, making more money than I've ever made in my life. And then he left again. And when I sold my house and came back, I just decided that I wasn't going to do any more magic on him. You know what I mean? That obviously I was trying to make him stay, and he shouldn't be staying. And I remember I was something about one day, and I have a daughter that's 18 now, but she was 15 then, I guess, or 14. And I said something about this, and she said, I don't believe any of that. I'm an atheist. And I said, you're a what? And she was like, I'm an atheist.
What is this?
And I was like, what do you mean?
How dare you?
I know. I couldn't believe it. I was like, so I became so obsessed with what she was atheist. You know what I mean? Because I knew she didn't care about church, and I didn't either. But I had been trying to like show her, my magic stuff, and she was like, you know what I mean? She said, I don't believe any of that.
That has nothing to do with atheism, though. That's all more of a skepticism.
I know, but she was like, she didn't believe any of it, though, is what she was saying. She said, I don't believe any of that stuff. I don't believe church, and I don't believe that. She said, I'm an atheist, and I don't believe any of it. And I said, what? So I joined a bunch of Facebook groups. It was asking me about it. I was asking them, and they were like, no. So then I remember the minute that I quit believing in any kind of power, I was watching Sam Harris and William Lane Craig debate. And of course, the debate was old, it'd been around for years.
Yep.
And I just, when Sam got done with his part of that debate, I just sit there and I thought, none of this is real. And I remember it hit me like that right there. And I couldn't go back and believe it if I wanted to.
Right.
No, I often equate it to the scene in Wizard of Oz when they look behind the curtain and see who's actually pulling the levers. You can't go back and think of it. The almighty, the great and powerful Oz is still real, right?
Still
It's
scary.
a show. Well, not anymore, really. Once you know, man.
Overactive imagination.
Once you see the absurdity of God, you can't unsee it.
Yep.
Yeah. I know someone might, that's the no true Scotsman fallacy, but when people say, I was an atheist and then I became religious, and there may be many people that experience happens to, but of course they have it from some sort of a personal experience, forgetting about with all the things that we know and have learned from neuroscience and psychology and stuff like that, and how the mind works. And our minds, especially in times of, we'll say hard times, like you're going through tough periods, your family problems, relationship problems, whatever the case may be, and your brain is going to automatically do things for you because that's how your brain works. And it might do things that leads you to believe things that aren't real.
Yeah.
So that you're comforted. And thank you. Is it Isa? Kabir?
Yes,
thank you very much.
It's a friend of mine.
Yeah. Thanks, Isa.
And cool,
that's not just like religion. That's a lot of things. Like there's people that still don't know how to like use tools the right way because they never bothered to learn, and they just can't be like, it's built into us to like being right. You're not wired to enjoy the feeling of being wrong in a situation.
But I'm especially wired for that. Yes. You ask anybody.
That itchy brain syndrome where you're like, that doesn't really make sense. Yeah, that's because your brain's working. It's good. Don't turn it
on. I like to make sure though that I am. You know what I mean? I like to.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I never had learned evolution. I remember that was like as soon as I thought I've got to find out if this is real. You know what I mean? Because I mean, all I've ever heard is monkeys. I mean, I never did learn
Why
it.
are there still monkeys?
I did not learn it, but I never did really sweat it. I never did really worry about it. I just didn't worry about it. I mean, I lived my life, and God or evolution, neither one bothered me. And I bought Jerry A. Coyne's. No, I didn't have to buy it. I remember it's free audiobook on YouTube. Jerry A. Coyne's Why Evolution is True. Anybody can listen.
Yeah, I know.
Ember, download that. React to it.
I have offered it because it's free audiobook on YouTube. I have told everybody that I've ever come in contact with that says it's not true to watch that. Hey, go listen to it. So you can go listen to it free. And when I got, what I mean, he's a great teacher of evolution.
There's many, lots of people I know in the community that are specialists in evolution, different branches of it or whatever, like Jackson Wheat, Gutsick Gibbon, of course, Aaron Ra.
Oh yeah, I'm not that good.
Know their stuff, right? So
Forrest.
Forrest Velkai. Yeah. I'm still got to get him on here. I don't know why, but he won't answer my messages. I don't know if
he's a busy person.
He is. That's
to be
true.
Fair, I showered today, so that might change things.
Oh, did you?
That might change some minds.
I casted a spell and see it worked.
I casted the Irish Spring spell.
That's right.
I was kind of upset over the fact that I found out my spells didn't really work. But
I know that's not fair to make you think it worked because
I really liked magic, and I had done read up on it and figured out a way that it was scientific.
Hang on here. Hang on. Michelle, we know. We know. And it wasn't consensual, FYI.
What about the spell?
Oh, she can't read it. She said,
"No. Yeah, you can't read these." Michelle Thomas, who's in the chat, says, "Robin, tell them what I said about Jesus' mom being so young when she was impregnated," which I think is fairly common knowledge, and it wasn't consensual either. So an angel told her that she was going to get molested by God.
She was like 12.
Which apparently still happens in the Catholic Church. So there you go. But, hey,
without prosecution.
Yeah, she could have been killed for that. But I like Hitchens' answer to it. He says, which is more likely, that blah blah blah, or that a young Jewish, what he calls her, lad. Well, I can't remember. He's got a term he calls her. That he's like, which is more likely, a vixen. I think he calls her a vixen or something like that. A young Jewish vixen lad.
Michelle Thomas is again in the chat. She says, "No, not what I said. What the 14-year-old said." So there's some 14-year-old that said something about it.
What T said about? T. I guess whoever T is.
Who's T? And there's something that a 14-year-old said that they're trying
to. My daughter.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what they're asking to tell. Oh, they must know you. Yeah, they were asking about that to tell us about that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my youngest daughter, she told me that she just said, I was trying magic stuff. She didn't like it. She got aggravated over it and stuff. And she said, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in none of that. And I was like, a what? I mean, I didn't even know anybody that did not believe in something. You know what I mean? Which my mom had done found out that had quit believing in God and was witchcrafting. And actually she didn't get near as disturbed about that as she did the atheist.
That's weird.
That's weird, right?
Oh my God, Neil, we gotta stop hanging out.
I experienced that as well. So they didn't react so harshly to that.
They just think if you believe something's all right.
Right.
It protects their beliefs.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess because it's still quote unquote a belief of some kind that includes even deities to some degree, or the Green Man or whatever, right? Like all kinds of things. Mark Reed gives a $5 Australian dollar super chat here to support Robin. Your journey has only just begun. Journey well, my friend.
Mark is good.
Smart.
He's a great guy.
He's a bastard. I mean, he's a great guy. Sorry. I kid, Mark. I kid, of course. And hello, Lord Nibs.
Sudden but inevitable betrayal.
He knows a lot of stuff too.
I believe in bacon. It's never let me down. Here.
And that's one thing that's kind of like at your benefit is like, especially like the YouTuber atheist community. Everyone is so well, if not well learned, well studied. You know what I mean? Like everyone has like a series on videos that you can always just go back through and watch all their stuff. And they got like, there's like an entire resource of material for people just leaving their stuff to watch.
Well, I mean, like in my community here, I'm pretty smart, but with my online community, I'm way down.
Yeah, the water gets deep online. It's like, damn, y'all some smart motherfuckers in this. Latin.
But I know more than I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is good. That's an improvement, right? We always learn new stuff.
I want to learn more.
I want to. Yeah.
I don't remember even wanting to learn for years, and now, you know, I mean, it's now I like watch stuff to learn all the time about.
Oh, is someone using your account, Robin?
Huh?
Because this popped into the chat.
What is it? What does it say?
It's Robin Webster saying hello, Rockin' Robin. So
I don't know. Might be my daughter. Maybe I don't know.
The calls are coming from inside the house.
Hello, Robin. Yeah, hello, Robin's daughter. Fern finally showed up. Hey, Fern.
Hey, Fern.
Because I sent her a link, my daughter, a link for to watch it on.
Oh, okay. There you go.
But I don't know why she'd be watching it on. I don't know. Maybe she don't want to watch it on hers. I don't know.
We have a brief capitalism break. Thank you, Jake Nelson. $5 super chat over on YouTube. Robin Webster. I love that twang, southern, and gorgeous. You're getting all the love today.
Thank you, Jake.
Yeah.
The whole chat is purring.
Do you? I want to know if you suffer from some of the things that I suffer from as well here, having the hair, like the long hair. Do random people just come up and kind of touch your hair and go, "Oh my God, your hair"?
I wear pigtails every day.
Okay, so you don't
like this is like
molested all the time.
My hair stays in braids, 2 braids down here, and a bandana on every day. That's what I wear every day.
I like the bandana thing.
Yeah, the braids.
Obviously,
it gets so in the truck. It's so hot first on my neck in the summertime. But it gets all like knotted up in like a big knot back there, and you can't get a brush to it, and so I have to. I just keep it braided. I just keep it braided. You know what I mean? I just redo the braids, and I can.
Yeah. That is called a protective hairstyle. And more capitalism from Captive Dust. $5 from YouTube. Great show. Much love, Robin.
Hey, Dave. I gave Dave some little tarot card reading. I asked one day.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
So is Wicca tarot cards, or is that something different?
Well, tarot cards can be used in any of the kind of pagan kind of belief systems.
Whoa, nice.
Tarot started out different. Started out its own thing, and Wiccans use them as well.
You can just intermix all that woo.
Yeah. There's spirit cards. There's I've got 2 tarot decks. I still have the Aleister Crowley's Thoth deck, and I have a dragon tarot deck because I like dragons. So.
I have like 12 up there. I have 3 like big decks that are over under witchcraft decks. That are like 2 decks in the box.
Decks. Okay.
Yeah, decks.
I thought you said 3 big decks.
I know nobody cares.
Decks. Okay.
But
Neil's Canadian ears are having a hard time with the southern drawl.
I know.
Great.
Yeah, I know.
I have a really bad. I remember when I used to go to New York City, the Teamsters worked on the docks up there, and they would call me Caneyville because that was the name of the little town that my trip was from. And they were like, "Does everybody sound like you down there?" And I was like, "No, I sound like a hick there too." That's what I used So they like to hear me talk.
$2 capitalism break from Artemis Brain Sample. $2 on YouTube. Neil, reflexes equal like a cat.
Like a cat, yeah, because I just about dropped my water, but I caught it.
Caught it
And
like
actually,
5
speaking
times.
of that, I was on TikTok and they had this compilation of cats' reaction times. Holy fuck, they're faster than like every other animal on the planet.
Yes, they are.
Snakes, gators, it doesn't matter. They're like, whoa, fuck
Did you
you.
watch one of the snakes? Were
Yeah,
yeah. Yes, I saw it, man. And those, like, they were beating those snakes. I mean, they just
The snake didn't even know it was hit.
they didn't have that
Oh,
cat.
shit.
They didn't have nothing
But
on
they
the
would,
cat.
they would strike at the cat, and snakes are pretty fucking fast, but the cat out of the way every time.
Yeah.
Got him with a clean sonic boom on one of those cats. I say that.
I bet Neil doesn't have Lego tarot. I could make a Lego tarot deck.
They make tarot decks for everything.
The little Lego guy on there with like the 9 of cups, just being himself.
They'd be a little bit more 3D-ish, but you know.
I sold $2,000 worth of books after I quit doing witchcraft.
Wow.
That's how many books I had like accumulated. Like I had all these spell books, these great big spell books, and
that's a library.
I made all like a whole bunch of the new Wicca witches, you know, and stuff. I didn't actually Wicca. I wasn't actually in Wicca, but when I first got into it, I started reading them, and I had all them books, and I took them to there's a woo store, you know, about 30 miles from here that I used to buy rocks and stuff from, and I took them all up there, and I was like, okay, I want to sell all these books, and she gave me like $500 some dollars. It was about over $2,000 worth of books, and she gave me like $500 for them, like because they sell them in stores.
If you're feeling kind of crappy, what you can do is you can take this amethyst crystal here and you can put it around your neck and it'll make you feel better.
I have those little things you put them in, like these little spring things they've got. You can put any size rock in there. I've got every rock you can imagine. I mean, when I go in, like I'm kind of get obsessed with stuff. I guess. So yeah.
I like them because they're pretty. So I buy them.
That's why I kept them. Yeah.
If you
buy the boxfuls.
If you ever get on the road and you end up in the UP, you should talk to a friend of the show, Kelly. He has a rock store. It's
it's
full of like super cool minerals, and he gets all those people in there, and it's just like he's like in all these atheists. Oh, that's cool. He's in like all these atheist like content, and then he's still got the woo people going, 1 amethyst, please. Got a big date tomorrow. Like it's like
Well, I mean, I still like my I didn't sell my rocks. You know, I still kept I kept all my rocks, but I had I had like every different kind. I had them like all labeled and then these little things, and it's because every like spell
gems are awesome.
Whatever energy you were looking for, you know what I mean? That's then you chose like all your stuff from that. You know, you like what flower you use, what herb you use, what rock you use, what, you know, just all that stuff. The more you made it match the energy, the more, you know, it's supposed to strengthen the energy of your spell towards that intention. And
well, yeah, I mean.
But I've had a hard time though. I mean, it was hard for me. You know, it's been. I mean, I started watching Matt Dillahunty and them, and I learned one thing from Matt, and I just made myself stick with that. That I don't know. I mean, I don't know why he came back at the end of that spell, and I don't know why he came back the second time and told me that he felt like I was pulling at him. You know what I mean? Because he told me, he said, the longer I stay gone, the harder it was. And you know what I mean? And I had been doing that every day. He didn't even know that then. And I told him. But I don't know why, you know what I mean? I don't know why that worked out that way. I don't know. I just had to tell myself, I don't know.
Well, did any spells that you did not work?
I did a money spell one year. And 2 months later, I filed my taxes, and it was like at the beginning of the pandemic, and I got $12,000 back on my taxes.
Not bad.
Yeah, like a month and a half after I did the spell, and then these two. You know what I mean? So I mean, I had just all kinds of just stuff that worked out.
On yours says they're called correspondences, the matching of
Correspondence.
energies
Yes,
slash
thank you.
purposes
My
with a type of flower,
terminology.
rock, spice, etc.
I have a homemade book, like a binder, about that thick up there, that is nothing but my correspondence that I put together, my own personal book. It's huge. It has the planets, the days of the week, the times of the day, the herbs, the flowers, the god or goddess, the uh, stone, which just, I mean, anything, which way you're supposed to be facing. I mean, it's just like, the more you get into it, the more there is to learn. And it was a lot.
Yeah, sure.
I was really obsessed with it.
When I finally found my way out of that kind of stuff, I kind of got mad at myself for wasting so much time with it. But then, at least you learn some things, right? Whether or not they're true or real is another matter. But you learn behind the scenes stuff of how these people work their craft,
Yeah.
so to speak, I guess.
I found out though, there's a lot of good people in that group.
Oh, sure.
I mean, there's good people in religion, but then there's
Sure.
a lot of people who are not good that are,
Oh, yeah.
and that community right there is a lot of sort of like it's sort of a misfit community too. There's
Yep.
there's a lot of people who've been rejected by regular religion and their families, and they and they find community there.
Yeah, I agree. It was very akin to like when you could first start using modems and go online and meet other people. It wasn't the internet like it was today. There were like BBSs and local chat rooms and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And there's a bunch of us that used to get together, and we'd always meet up in public to go to like a movie or something. Like Terminator 2, I think, was one of the big ones that we went to. And you never saw a bigger group of people that didn't look like they belonged together in one room, right? Like there's just so many different people together that all sort of shared the same interests in that regard, right? So it was kind of funny. And I find atheism is kind of the same way. Large groups of people that really, they look like they come from all corners, right? So, which is great in my opinion, because that just shows that even if we are, different, we all still have something in common, and that becomes a thread that we can make bigger and build a community out of that, right? Which is kind of why I do the after parties, is so that people can meet the guests and talk with them and build a stronger community that way. That's why I do this sort of stuff. And I also think that these stories help others that are out there not realizing that there are people out there that are questioning or have questioned, just like they did, and found their way free. So I hopefully it encourages people to do so.
See,
and join the community.
I haven't. I told my parents and my family and stuff, but like as far as like outing in public, my best friend, stuff like that, I'm on here a lot, but it's just in the recent last like 4 or 5 months that I've really. I mean, I don't try to shove it in people's face, but every now and then, like, okay, this is upsetting too, but there was a news story from England yesterday where this man, he had a little 2-year-old or 4-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, something like that, son, and he had a heart attack. And that boy, they found that
4-year-old?
No, the dad, and the boy starved to death
Oh,
because nobody came to check on them. You know what I mean? It was just them two, and before they found him, his dad had died, and he was there until he starved to death. You know what I mean? And I read that, and I think this is why I don't believe in God. This is one of many reasons why I don't believe there's a God. When if there is a loving God somewhere, that's where we should see him in a circumstance like that. To me, that's where we would expect to see him.
yeah,
And
I agree.
and they just don't.
Nope.
I'm over here muted. Yeah, that's when the neighbors should be coming over to like, oh, I needed to borrow a hammer. And oh, look, the kid is here by themselves. But that never happens. They
Well,
find their car
like
keys, they get a lottery ticket, but
the neighbors
the
like
behavior
had
is not there.
texted him or something, but they didn't. I mean, of course, the little boy was pretty young, so I reckon. I mean, he didn't last very long. I don't think. Just a few days. A child that small can't live very long. They don't have enough, stores. But it just, that's where we should see. That's where we should see God. I mean, if anywhere,
You would expect
yes,
or hope it
that's
was
where
God,
we would
right?
expect to see him.
Yeah.
I mean, because the man, no matter what the man did, that child's innocent. I mean,
Right.
he hadn't sinned, he hadn't done anything. So
Well,
and-
we're born
and-
in sin according to them, so
and if nothing else, take him out, don't let him suffer. Like there, he just.
Right.
I mean, that's just. I just that just so I just couldn't help it. I had to say say something about that. I was like, this is why I don't believe right here. This is why I don't believe.
Artemis says imaginary people are the easiest to hide.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like Carl Sagan's pink flying weightless colorless or whatever fucking dragon in his garage.
Yeah. The one that didn't leave footprints and.
That's right. Well, because he floats. He actually
He
floats. That's why. But you said he breathes fire. Well, we can't feel the heat. Oh, well, it's heatless flame. I see that.
We had a
It's-
fire
you
breathing
can't
conversation.
see it. So yeah.
That's what kind of fire?
We had a fire breathing
anyways.
dragon thing about dragons.
Yeah.
We were trying to figure out what mechanism could possibly exist for a animal to breathe fire. We were trying to like make up some sort of
There is
it was on Matters Now.
There is a great mockumentary they have out there that's called Dragons, a Fantasy Made Real. So, and it talks about dragons existing all the way back to when dinosaurs were around, the first prototypes of dragons. And it tells you exactly how they do the fire breathing. Because their stomachs create a gas. And they chew on flint off the sides of mountains and they crunch up flint. And then they rub it together and you get fire.
We tried forever to figure out the mechanism, because I was like, because it was a debate, on Modern Day Debate, and then we had an after show on Matters Now, and we were like I was like, we don't see this in evolution, we don't see anything in the evolutionary record where any kind of pre or post development of fire breathing shows up in the fossil record,
No,
and
no fire breathing in the fossil record. You sure?
I mean, we just don't, it's not ever developed in any other animal that we have found so far. But
no,
we were trying to even figure out a way it could. So
perhaps the flames don't come out the mouth, and they just eat peppers. And it was just like an illustration. They were just trying to really show. They didn't mean fire breathing. It was badly translated.
What about? Well, hold on. What about fire?
No.
we talked about that, but we
cut to the mushroom cloud.
We just didn't figure the dragon was carrying around a lighter, a Bic, with him. When he,
Perhaps he had a Zippo.
We figured he would have to have access to some sort of fuel, and then he would have to have access to some sort of flame. And so we just can't figure out what natural mechanism could work. But the flint thing, that's interesting. I'll have to tell him about that.
The hell is that? Neil, you're an atheist because you're a sub-5 male. What the hell is a sub-5 male? I don't even know what that is.
He knows, probably.
Quit coping just because you're not God's favorite. Oh, yeah. No, I'm not concerned about that. They're crypto because I don't believe in God.
And that's the wrong your.
Didn't really.
You should pray for phonics lessons.
For
grammar
correction.
Your syntax.
He's not real, dude. He's not real. If he was real, there wouldn't be thousands of fucking children being molested by priests. Okay, that wouldn't happen.
So is that a Christian or something? Or
I guess, or something. I don't know.
I don't know that I know who that is.
What does the Old Testament say about cryptocurrency? You tell me that, and then fix your yous and your yours. Learn your yours and your theirs, and then come back at me, big guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got one last question for you, and then we're gonna move on to the after party.
Okay.
If you could go back and talk to Christian you, what would you say? What advice would you give them?
Like I always say,
Learn evolution. Learn evolution, I think. Because I think once evolution, I think once I saw I remembered the debate when I, just realized it was real. But I think that what made the most impact on me just giving it away was evolution. I think once I understood that there was really a natural mechanism for us being here,
Right.
then it just, it took all the need for any of the supernatural out of it. I never did worry about the universe, but us always kind of confused me.
Yep,
but
for sure.
Now they teach it in schools here. Thank goodness. My daughter learned it. So.
Mikey, Fern is going to need a link through Discord.
Okay.
For the after party. Let me just check something here.
Can I say thanks to everybody that come by? My friends?
Sure, of course.
Yeah, I had several of them that were going to come that may be leaving. They've got some other shows that I think they've got their own shows.
Oh, absolutely. That's fine.
Thank y'all for supporting me.
If you don't watch the after party, you're out of my will. I'm just
kidding. I can't remember if Mark had a stream or Ember's done his, but there was like Ozian had one. I don't know if he ever came, but he
was. Mark Reed?
Yeah, I can't remember if he had a stream scheduled today or not.
Well, he was in the chat earlier.
Yeah, I know, but he may have left. It's what I was meant. If he had a stream, some of them may have left.
I see. Okay.
Everybody usually circles back around for the after party anyway, because I know the line's starting now. So hit me up on Twitter or Discord or wherever you need to. If you want to link to the after party, let the line begin.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. I wanted to put the link, but I can't find it.
Which one?
Well, it's something that I'm going to be on Sunday.
Okay.
And it's not coming up. It's not coming up. It's on the Skeptic.
Skeptics and Scoundrels?
Skeptic Haven or whatever.
Yeah, Skeptic Haven. Like Secular Rarity in them.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be doing a show with Apostasy.
Oh, I love Stacy. Yes.
Yeah, she's great. This Sunday. I can't see. I wanted to look because I can't remember the fucking time. So that's why I was going to look at it.
Have you been to very many conventions or anything?
Yes, I've been to a few. Yeah.
I've been to I went to NanaCon in Nashville. I met Matt and Arden and Dave and Seth.
Yeah.
And then Dave, I actually became pretty good friends with Dave. And
Dave's good people.
Mm-hmm. I was an ambassador for RFR. I actually did a booth at our county fair this year for RFR and Dave's Dying Out Loud thing, and which they were like, "Oh my gosh, we can't believe you're going to go to that little old county fair and put this atheist stuff up on the on the booth." Which I didn't have really, I had like a couple old women that came by that were kind of like, yeah, they didn't like it. They talked to me, and mostly there was a lot of younger people though that came by that were real supportive of it. They liked it.
That's cool.
And so I like that. That was pretty cool. That RFR said that was the first county fair that they thought they had been in. So.
Really, that's cool.
Yeah. So
I do when I'm always involved in the fundraisers for RFR whenever they're going on. People know that, so they usually come to me and say, "Oh, we're doing one." I'll be like, "I'm in."
Yeah, I'm hoping to do NanaCon this year. They're supposed to be having it again in Nashville this year. So I'm hoping I'll be able to work the table and everything.
Yeah, for sure. I always have links for Recovering from Religion, plus the Clergy Project, plus a bunch of other helpful websites you can go to if you are struggling with your losing your faith and stuff like that. So I used to, Artie. I can't anymore because of the medication that I'm on. So yeah, I was a blood donor for a long time.
The vampire pyramid scheme known as blood donation.
Yeah. Anyway, well, Robin, I want to thank you so much for joining Mikey and me for today's episode. It's a pleasure having you on.
Thank you. Well, yeah, it was nice. I'm
Yeah,
sorry
you're
about my phone. Like I said, my computer got a virus the other night. I was on it, and it came up and said it was trying to be hacked from Russia or something like that. And I downloaded something on it, but now when it comes on, it goes right back off.
You need this fucking thing right here.
It won't even let me. It came on, it go right back off. I go. So
this still works.
I'm gonna have to take it. I'm gonna take it because I don't even know how to. I'm gonna take it to a computer guy here in town and tell him to fix it, I guess. But,
yeah, have him do it on his internet if it's already compromised.
I mean, I thought the site that I was going to was to download some kind of app, and I thought I went to the store, the Google store or whatever, or the Microsoft store. I thought that's where I was, and it just came up all of a sudden and said, your computer's being attacked. Your computer's being attacked. It just kept on saying that over and over.
Oh boy,
what assholes! They'll probably have to just do a clean install. You'll be okay.
I'm like illiterate, on computers pretty much. So I was like, okay.
Well, yeah, give it to the experts. They'll help you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's their job.
Yeah, so this Sunday, Skeptic Haven, I'll be on their show that they do on I will be talking about deconversion and stuff like that, deconstruction, and probably taking calls and stuff like that. So,
Neil, it looks like you put the link in the chat there already.
Oh, did I?
Oh yeah, you
there
did.
you go. And Crystal also Pragmatic Crystal also just reposted it there. And of course, we do have a show. We should have a show coming up on Saturday as well, except I can't, for some reason, see the guests that I picked on there. Let me see if I've got it here in my notes here. I've had a few, so
we upgraded to using a Google Calendar, and we're both incapable.
Exactly.
Oh, it's Azo.
That's right. Yeah. Azo will be joining us on Friday. It's me. He says it's me, you dumbass. Yeah. Thanks, Azo. I know I'm an idiot. What can I tell you? Anyway, so yeah, thank you everybody out there in the chat.
You talking about Azo?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Azo's coming on Saturday.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, he was never really religious, so we're going to talk about religious influences that we've had in our lives, building a better community, that kind of thing. So.
Well, if you live in America, you're influenced by religion, whether you want it or not.
Right.
Yeah. He says the furniture will be there. Okay, excellent. Thank you guys out there in the chat over on Twitch and on YouTube. Thanks for hanging out with us. Also, thanks to our patrons. You guys are awesome. Couldn't do this without you guys. If you're digging the tunes you hear at the beginning of the show and the end of the shows, that's my band. So if you like the tunes, you can check out the links below to my SoundCloud, and Mikey's SoundCloud is also down there, and definitely check that out because Mikey makes some pretty cool and interesting things. So and until then, there's a link to the after party in the description box if you just want to hang out in the chat. But yeah, I guess that's about it. Thanks everybody, and until next time, like I always say at the end of the interview part of the show, like the late great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge.
Bye.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.